Okay, so I'm gonna talk about a story regarding the GI tract. But before that, let me go over a certain amount of steps. So the first thing that happens is the food is gonna enter your mouth, and then you have salivary amylase. These are enzymes along with lingual lipase that are gonna break down lipids and starch a little bit. And then it's gonna roll over into a ball called bolus, and then you go through the esophagus. Okay, so you're going through the esophagus down into the skeletal, the smooth and skeletal muscle, and then the smooth. The skeletal is voluntary, okay, and then the smooth is involuntary. Peristalsis is the movement in the esophagus that propels the bolus down. Then the bolus is going to enter the stomach down through the sphincter. And then we have a bunch of cells. We have the sheath cells, parietal cells, and mucus cells. So mucus cells are going to secrete gastrin in response to food. And then in turn, gastrin is going to activate the sheath cells to produce pepsinogen, and as well as parietal cells to secrete HCl. And the HCl is in turn going to activate pepsinogen into pepsin. Pepsin, as the name entails, is going to cut peptides. Okay. Then we also have, so it's gonna start breaking things down. So pepsin is gonna start breaking the peptides down. And then we get what is called chyme. So chyme is the substance that's gonna end up in the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine. And then we go, okay, so the duodenum does most of the enzymatic work. So most of the breakdown and digestion is gonna occur at the duodenum. And this happens when secretin tells the pancreatic cells to secrete bicarbonate. Bicarbonate is gonna increase the pH. Okay, it's gonna make it less acidic, more basic, and it's gonna tell all of the cells in the stomach to slow down. You know, because they went crazy. It's gonna tell the sheath cell, yo, stop making pepsin. It's going to tell the parietal, yo, stop making acid. It's going to tell the mucus cells, yo, stop making gastrin. So the secretin, it's going to put a stop into all of that. Then we get cholecystokinin that's going to act on the gallbladder. It's going to punch it, and it's going to secrete bile. And bile is going to enter through the common bile duct into the duodenum. Finally, we hit the jejunum, which is the middle of the small intestine. In the jejunum, we have further breakdown. And we also have absorption here. We absorb water, we absorb nutrients, as well as in the ileum. Okay, so the duodenum has the most digestive activity. The jejunum has the least. Also, when it comes to the pancreas, we already know that it secreted D-bicarbonate to neutralize the acid. It also secretes trypsinogen and chymotrypsinogen that are going to act on the duodenum. Remember the business end of the digestion. They're going to act on the duodenum, and in turn they're going to hit the brush border enzymes. The brush border is the convoluted area that has a lot of surface area, that has villi and crypts. And here what's going to happen, the enteropeptidases are going to activate the trypsinogen, okay, into trypsin, and then trypsin in turn is going to activate chymotrypsinogen into chymotrypsin, and that's how you get the whole chain reaction of digestion in duodenum. Anyways, let's go back to the ileum. So ileum is the last part of the small intestine, and then we get what's called the ileocecal valve. It's appropriately named because the cecum is the first part of the large intestine, and the ileum is the last part, so we go through there. The appendix is the small thing that's hanging in there, and the thing about the appendix is that it's not that important, but it stores a lot of bacteria. And if it ruptures, boy, you have a problem. Okay, so we have the cecum, and then we get the ascending colon, then we get the transverse colon, then we get the descending colon, then we get the rectum. The rectum stores, you know what? So the rectum stores your, so it stores that. And then descending limb is basically the one that absorbs a lot of the water. So the purpose of the colon is to absorb. Okay, and then finally we go through the toilet, down into the toilet. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to go through a journey with you. Pretend that you are this little guy and you happen to be miniature like Ant-Man, and that you are stuck in a bowl of rice and a bunch of things in there. And then Bob over here is blind, he can't see you, so he's gonna eat you. And then the first thing that happens is you are struck by lightning, okay? You're struck by lipase and amylase. So you feel pulling and your fingers start falling off. That's because the lipase and amylase start working on you. They start ripping you apart. Then you feel this pressure and you crawl into a ball and you start rolling downhill as if it's a waterfall down into the esophagus. And then you hear drums beating, so you feel contractions on the walls, pressuring your stomach, pressuring every single part of your tiny body. Okay, that is called peristalsis. Then you hit the sphincter. A hole on the ground opens up and down you go into the stomach. In the stomach, you get a mob attack, okay? A mob attacks you. The first thing that happens is the mucus cells are gonna say, yo, gastrin, tell your parietal cell to start secreting HCl. So gastrin goes over there to the parietal cell and tells it to secrete acid. So now you're stuck in this boiling hot water. It's full of acid. And then gastrin also is telling the sheath cells to secrete pepsinogen. So the poor sheath cells are going to bust you out. They're going to create pepsinogen, and then the acid is going to activate that poor pepsinogen into pepsin. And now pepsin starts attacking you. Yet now you lose an arm and a leg. Now you have no arm, no leg, no fingers. Next, the pH is boiling. It's really, really acidic. Then you go down into a waterfall and you hit the duodenum. In the duodenum, bile is gonna pour on you. So you feel this gooey yellow-green substance being poured on you from the common bile duct. And now the environment turns basic on you. Now it's super cold, it's freezing. You don't feel that red hot burning sensation of an acidic pH, because as it turns out, secretin is a snitch. Secretin went to the pancreas and tells, yo, pancreas, please turn back the basic on, turn the bases up. And it tells the pancreas to secrete bicarbonate. Okay, so when the pancreas secretes bicarbonate, your whole environment changes on you. Not only do you have that green, disgusting bile that came from the bile ducts, but now you have this cold environment because it's no longer acidic, because secretin created more bicarbonate from the pancreas. And the pancreas, in turn, is going to tell the mob before you, yo, everybody back up, relax. No more acid, no more pepsin, no more chyme. Everybody just back up. So anyways, now if you're going from the duodenum and you get these enzymes from the pancreas, we get trypsinogen, chymotrypsin, they're all attacking you. So now you no longer have fingers, leg, hands, but you no longer have a torso. You no longer have your little toes. You're basically a walking torso. So what remains of you is going to go through the jejunum. In the jejunum, you're going to get sucked into this area because the jejunum is involved in absorption. So it absorbs everything that you have left. Okay, so from now on, you go to the ileum, which is the last part of the small intestine. And here, when you hit the ileum and you go back to the colon, the ileocecal wall into the cecum and the ascending colon, you become dehydrated. All the water is coming out of you. But before you become dehydrated, in the ileum, it turns out you become skinny because the bile is getting absorbed in the ileum only. So you become skin and bones, essentially. Super skinny, dehydrated on top of that when you go through the colon. And finally, you go through an area with a bunch of bacteria. So say hello to your friendly E. coli. And after that, you go into the rectum. And oh my, you know what happens next? Literally, okay? Down the toilet you go. And that is the journey of you out into the toilet.